is a cat on his own schedule. He enjoys giving a high five, but only if he knows he's going to get something back from it. He likes those kitty snacks. In a past life, I think maybe Ellie was a jazz musician. He definitely loves to play the piano. My husband and I adopted Ellie and his two sisters back in 2021 from the animal shelter. He's grown to be nearly twice the size of his other two sisters. He has a groovy attitude about life. Recently, on June 12th, 2024, he started out the day by eating breakfast. He was on a scratching post, batted around his sisters a little bit, lazed in the catio. He ate kitty snacks in the afternoon. Interestingly, he didn't have any goop in his eyes or any indications that he had something like a kitty cold, but he just seemed a little off. That night at dinner, he didn't eat. His breathing sounded a little raspy, like he had a cold, but he didn't have any of the associated symptoms. And symptoms went from concerning to worse in a really short amount of time. After dinner, when he didn't eat, I was keeping a close eye on him, knowing that I was going to take him to the vet. As his breathing got progressively more raspy and worse, I went from thinking I would take him to the vet the next day to let's go to the emergency vet right now. Ellie's two sisters had feline infectious peritonitis back in 2022. I was bracing myself for the third diagnosis of this terrible disease. In fact, it wasn't FIP. The vet came in and said, Ellie is struggling. We have him on oxygen therapy. His heart is enlarged. His blood work was pretty much normal, save for glucose levels that were a little high. Due to his blood work, enlarged heart, crackling breathing, his positive response to oxygen therapy, the vet felt pretty confident in diagnosing it as congestive heart failure. It was most likely caused by hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM for short. It's a type of heart disease where the heart enlarges, especially near the left ventricle. The walls of the heart thicken and it can't pump blood efficiently. Because of that, it tends to pull and then it can back up into the lungs. And that's what causes the congestion, which is characteristic of congestive heart failure, or CHF for short. Ellie stayed in the ICU for a day and a half. They had him on oxygen therapy and gradually weaned him off of it, and that was a requirement for being able to come home. They started him on different heart medications, including furosemide, I think that's how you pronounce it, clopidogrel, and pimabendin. We also learned a few other important things about Ellie. First is that he has a moderate heart murmur. That's not an indication that he's going to get congestive heart failure, but it is something to be watched. The second thing is that all this time we thought Ellie was a she. We took Ellie to the vet as a she. The morning after Ellie had been with the vet, she called us and informed us, in her words, Ellie has a penis. Well, that explains why he's about twice the size of the other cats. The medications that Ellie is taking are for the remainder of his life. The first one, while it helps the heart, it also is a diuretic. It's called furosemide, and it makes a cat or a dog pee more. That's because it helps reduce fluid buildup in the heart and lungs, and just in general in the body. Because the body gets rid of extra fluid so quickly, it can leach potassium from the body as well. And that's the reason Ellie also has to take potassium gluconate, which is a supplement in a powder form is what we give him, to help stabilize his potassium levels. The other medication, the clopidogrel, helps to keep his blood from clotting. CHF cats are at higher risk of having blood clots. The third medication that he's taking is called pimobendan. The pimobendan helps the heart to contract and also helps keep the blood from clotting as well. Thankfully, so far, they're not prohibitively expensive. CHF is a progressive disease. Ellie will likely need dosage adjustments, higher amounts of medication in the future, and possibly the addition of extra medication to help keep him stable. But he will have to do this the rest of his life. Ellie's prognosis is guarded. CHF cats can sometimes live for years, but other times they can live for days or weeks after diagnosis. I really hope that Ellie is in the Live for Years club. If he were middle-aged or an elderly cat, he's already lived a chunk of his life, but Ellie's only 3 years old. And so it makes it extra heartbreaking that there is so much more life that he's supposed to live. After this diagnosis, it also means that Ellie will need regular blood work appointments at the vet. That's because they need to monitor his blood levels all across the board, make sure he's got good potassium, that he's not becoming diabetic, or that his kidneys are getting affected by all the rest of these medicines. And so that also necessitates yearly echocardiogram appointments as well. He is on a diet with reduced sodium, along with the addition of omega-3 salmon oil. These are vet approved. And for now, he's got the 3 medications that he started on, along with these supplements. And I hope that he remains stable. I have found out that heart medications can have bad interactions with other things, other supplements, other medications, other types of foods. And so anything that I do, I need to do research on it, but also check with a vet or check with a company that supplies whatever supplement I might be giving, so that I'm sure that there's not going to be an interaction for Ellie. The salmon oil, I called a company that I have been ordering other supplements from. They said it shouldn't interact. I double checked with the vet, and that can be really, really good for the heart, including for humans. We all have a long road ahead. We are adjusting our lives to this diagnosis and needing to give Ellie medications at such a young age. I never ever thought I would have a cat with heart disease, or 2 cats who would battle FIP, overcome that, or yet another cat who would concurrently have kidney disease. We are taking it one day at a time and really just trying to enjoy every moment with our boy and all our cats.